Are you someone who has so many dreams but always finds you're scrolling social media feeling unmotivated? Are you worried you'll waste your life away without ever finding your purpose or passion? If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. I'll share my story of how I had a creative power hour every day for 5 years and how it's completely transformed my life. By the end of this video, you're gonna stop procrastinating because you'll have clear actions to take, even if they're imperfect, to start building your dream life. I'm gonna share with you my story and then we'll break it down so we help you create positive feedback loops, goals, and techniques to create your power hour too. Ultimately, this is going to help you live the life that you love living. I used to channel surf, online window shop, and then feel bad about myself for wasting time. Until I discovered the power hour. For those who don't know, a power hour is when you dedicate 1 hour every day to working on something that brings you closer to your goals. It doesn't matter how big or how small the task is, as long as you're doing something that moves you one step forward. At first, it was tough to find the motivation to stick to it every day. I would come up with excuses like,
I'm too tired.
Or, I don't have enough time. But I realized that if I wanted to learn more about the things that I kept saying that I wanted to learn more about, yoga, meditation, nutrition, start that side hustle, I needed to make changes and dedicate time to do the things. So I started small, dedicating just 1 hour every day to working on all of my side projects, and thus the Power Hour was born. Fast forward 5 years, let's call it 10 years really, because that's kind of how long I've been at this, and I've completely transformed my life. Despite having a full-time job as a producer in advertising, and I now lead the team, I've been able to train as a yoga and meditation teacher, teaching part-time. I've studied and qualified as a naturopathic nutritionist and a health coach. My school was also in London and I live in Amsterdam. So once a month I was flying to London to take classes. And now I've rolled all of my interests and passions in filmmaking and well-being together to also run this YouTube channel as a side hustle. All of this was possible because of my daily power hours. Now, I know what you're thinking. How did you find the time to do all that? The truth is, it's hard, and it requires discipline and sacrifice. But there is also a positive feedback loop that develops that you can take advantage of. Let's unpack this positive feedback loop. Dedicating time to something and improving at it makes you feel good about yourself. So then feeling good about your progress makes you want to spend more time on doing the thing. So the more time you spend on it, the better you're gonna get at it. And then the more you get into it, and that's how a positive feedback loop develops, and boom, you've grown a passion. It's rare that a passion is something you're born with or that hits you overnight. Cal Newport writes about this in his book, So Good They Can't Ignore You. I'll link to it below too. Eventually, because of this positive feedback loop, you build a passion and prioritize it over other things. And that's basically what happened to me. So at first, I would wake up an hour earlier every day to work on my side projects with that power hour. But eventually, I was using my lunch breaks to film videos or work on my website, and then I'd coach clients at the end of my workday. And I would even sacrifice weekends to teach yoga or attend more trainings. Now, this is all after 5 to 10 years of trying and tweaking my time and schedules, so it doesn't happen overnight, but it all started with dedicating just 1 hour every day to do the thing. If I can do it, you can do it too. We'll get into different techniques of what to do in your power hour a little later, but it's important to first define what your goal is. If that's too hard, think about what brings you joy in the physical, emotional, and mental aspects of life. Maybe it's working out, writing, painting, learning an instrument, or starting a business. Whatever it is, make sure it's something that truly excites you. Now, if you're having trouble coming up with ideas, don't worry. I've got a 9-page workbook that you can download to help you brainstorm and define your goals. It'll even help you create time in your busy day to make them happen. I'll put the link in the description below too. Now that you have a goal or some goals in mind, it's time to start implementing your power hour. I've got a few techniques that you can use to make the most out of that daily hour. Okay, for technique number 1, you already know this, but I have to repeat it. Choose a consistent time for your power hour and add it to your schedule. If it's not there, you're not going to do it. Also consider your energy levels when selecting a time. For example, if your power hour is for exercise, then avoid scheduling it late at night. So the first tip is to pick a time and block it in your calendar. Ideally, it's at the same time every day to start with, so that it's easier to make it become a routine, and then from there it can become a habit. The next you might already be familiar with or heard of, it's the Pomodoro technique. Now this involves working in sprints, breaking your hour into 25-minute intervals with 5-minute breaks in between. That gives you 2 sprints in 1 hour. So this helps you stay focused and productive without burning out. It gives you that deadline too. I've got 25 minutes, gotta get it done. Focus! Now, more often than not, we tend to underestimate the amount of time it takes to do something. Like writing always takes me longer than I think it will, whether it's writing these YouTube scripts or my monthly newsletters, which, by the way, I've got a newsletter where I send you 5 good things on how to live more mindfully every month. I'll link to it below. It wasn't until I started timing myself that I realized how much more time I needed to plan for certain tasks. So the third technique is to use a timer and to gauge how long you need for each task. This is going to help you when you're time planning to do similar tasks again later. I like Toggle. It's even got a built-in Pomodoro timer along with a regular timer. If you've got lots of different smaller goals that you're working on, you can split them into different days of the week. Try batching days of the week for different goals while still keeping to that same hour of the day. So let's say your power hour is going to be 7 to 8 a.m. on weekdays. So then, for example, on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, you can focus on your side hustle, while on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can focus on learning a new skill. So you do you with how you want to batch things. Sometimes, even with having these goals and techniques, you might still be doubting if it's the right goal to be spending that precious hour on. How do you get clear on what you really want out of life? I have 2 more techniques to share with you in this video. I'll see you over there.